guys, welcome back to Real Talk Cinema, the place where we break down your favorite movies, uncover hidden facts, share behind the scenes secrets, and give you honest, no nonsense reviews. Whether you're here for movie trivia, deep dives, or just want to know if a film is worth your time, we've got you covered. Let's jump right into it. In the rapidly shifting world of entertainment, where streaming platforms have revolutionized how stories reach audiences, Sidelined, The QB and Me emerges as a significant landmark, not just as a teen rom-com, but as a defining original film for Tubi. Released on November 29th, 2024, this movie represents much more than just a new title in the sea of teen romances. It symbolizes the ambitions of a platform that is carving out its own unique space in the crowded streaming universe. Tubi, traditionally known for its vast library of free, ad-supported movies and shows, took a bold step with this film. By producing and distributing original content like Sidelined, The QB and Me, Tubi signals its intent to compete with the giants of streaming Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime, but with a distinctive approach. It understands its audience deeply. Young viewers who are digitally native, socially conscious, and always hungry for stories that reflect their realities, struggles, and dreams. These viewers don't just want to consume passive entertainment, they want to connect, relate, and see themselves in the characters on screen. Choosing to release Sidelined, The QB and Me, in late November was strategic. The holiday season is a time when families gather, teens get more free time, and many are looking for light-hearted, heartwarming stories to escape into. Amid the seasonal flurry, this movie arrived as a breath of fresh air, a film that embraces the classic charm of high school romance, but infuses it with the modern sensibilities of today's youth. It captures the delicate balance between chasing personal dreams and navigating the complexities of relationships, all wrapped in a feel-good narrative that doesn't shy away from real emotions. Moreover, the fact that this film is a Tubi original means it was created with accessibility in mind. Unlike subscription-based platforms where a paywall might limit viewership, Tubi's ad-supported model allows anyone with an internet connection to watch without additional cost. This democratization of content gives Sidelined, The QB and Me a wider reach and enables it to resonate with viewers from diverse backgrounds and locations, some of whom may not have access to premium streaming services. It's a reminder of how the entertainment industry is evolving, breaking down barriers and creating new avenues for stories that might have otherwise gone unheard. In essence, Sidelined, The QB and Me is more than just a teen rom-com released on a specific date. It is a cultural moment, a reflection of shifting audience preferences, platform strategies, and the ongoing democratization of storytelling. This film's release marks Tubi's confident step into the future, where fresh voices and new stories can flourish on accessible platforms, shaping how teen stories are told and experienced for years to come. In the vibrant world of young adult fiction, Wattpad has become a remarkable incubator for fresh storytelling talent and unique voices, and Sidelined, The QB and Me draws its roots directly from this digital literary revolution. The film is based on Tay Marley's popular Wattpad novel, The QB Bad Boy and Me, a story that captivated thousands of readers with its authentic portrayal of teenage dreams, romance, and personal struggles. Wattpad isn't just a platform, it's a global phenomenon where writers share raw, unfiltered stories in real time, building loyal fan bases and influencing modern pop culture in a way traditional publishing often can't match. This origin story is important because it connects the film to a passionate, engaged community of readers who crave representation and relatability. Tay Marley's novel, with its blend of heartfelt emotion and the quintessential high school setting, gave life to characters that feel real, imperfect, ambitious, and full of the contradictions that define adolescence. By adapting this story, Sidelined, The QB and Me taps into a narrative already loved by fans, who come to the screen expecting the same warmth, humor, and emotional resonance they found in the pages online. Moreover, the Wattpad roots influence the movie's tone and style. Unlike polished studio blockbusters, Wattpad stories often emphasize intimate moments, character-driven plots, and relatable dialogue, elements that the film retains to preserve the novel's spirit. The adaptation process bridges the gap between an interactive, serialized digital story and a cohesive cinematic experience, which is no small feat. It reflects a larger trend in entertainment, where online fan favorite stories are increasingly becoming mainstream hits, reshaping how content is created and consumed. This connection also speaks to the democratization of storytelling in the digital age. Anyone with a compelling idea can reach an audience, and sometimes those stories go on to become major productions. The success of Sidelined, The QB and Me is a testament to how Wattpad has become a powerful platform for emerging voices, and how those voices are reshaping teen cinema with fresh perspectives rooted in genuine experience and community support. The writing team behind Sidelined. The QB and Me is a crucial element that shapes the film's unique voice and tone, and it brings together two remarkable storytellers from diverse backgrounds, Crystal Ferrero and Mary Gulino. Crystal Ferrero, known for her work on Diary of a Future President, brings a fresh and sensitive touch to coming of age stories, skillfully blending humor with heartfelt moments. Her experience in crafting narratives that center on young people, finding their identities, ambitions, and voices, shines through in Sidelined, giving the film its authentic emotional core. Ferrero understands the delicate balance of teen storytelling, how to make it feel real without becoming overly dramatic or cliched, which resonates deeply with today's youth who crave honesty and representation. Mary Gulino, on the other hand, is known for her work on Upload, a sci fi comedy that showcases her versatility in blending humor with speculative concepts and character driven plots. Her involvement signals the film's subtle infusion of sharp dialogue and pacing, ensuring that the movie doesn't just deliver a typical romantic storyline, but also keeps audiences engaged with witty, modern exchanges that feel fresh and relatable. Colino's knack for contemporary storytelling lends a layer of sophistication to the screenplay, making sure that the narrative stays grounded while being entertaining and vibrant. Together, Ferrero and Gulino form a creative partnership that bridges the gap between heartfelt drama and light-hearted comedy, creating a screenplay that flows smoothly and feels both sincere and fun. Their combined experience in diverse genres enriches the film, allowing it to touch on emotional themes like grief, ambition, and love with nuance, while still delivering moments of levity and youthful exuberance. This writing collaboration reflects a larger trend in teen cinema valuing diverse creative voices that understand their audience not just as viewers, but as individuals with complex emotions and modern sensibilities. It's their writing that helps Sidelined, The QB and Me rise above typical teen rom-coms, making it a heartfelt, relatable story that connects with viewers on a personal level, one laugh and one emotional moment at a time. When it comes to shaping the vision and emotional depth of Sidelined, The QB and Me, the role of director Chris Grismer cannot be overstated. Grismer, who has an impressive track record directing critically acclaimed television series like Pretty Little Liars and The Killing, brings a rich tapestry of experience in crafting tension, character driven drama, and complex emotional storytelling. His background in shows known for their intricate plots and atmospheric moods gives this teen rom-com a subtle edge, a sensitivity and nuance that help elevate what could have been a straightforward romantic story into something richer and more textured. Grismer's direction emphasizes the characters' internal journeys just as much as their external conflicts, allowing viewers to truly feel the highs and lows of adolescence, the awkwardness, the heartbreak, and the fleeting moments of joy. His experience with suspenseful and emotionally charged narratives translates into careful pacing and a keen eye for detail, making each scene in Sidelined resonate beyond surface-level romance. This ensures that the story feels real and grounded, even as it navigates the heightened emotions of young love and personal struggle. Moreover, Grisma's ability to work with young actors helps bring out natural, authentic performances that connect deeply with audiences. His direction encourages subtlety over theatrics, which is crucial in teen storytelling, where authenticity can make or break the emotional impact. The result is a film where the characters' vulnerabilities and strengths shine through, allowing the audience to see themselves reflected in their stories. Choosing Grisma as the director was a strategic decision that underscores the filmmaker's desire to balance the lightness of a rom-com with the emotional weight of personal growth and healing. His influence ensures that Sidelined, The QB and Me is not just another high school love story, but a nuanced exploration of what it means to find yourself and connect with others in the midst of life's challenges. At the heart of Sidelined, The QB and Me lies a profoundly human story that delves far beyond the surface of teenage romance. This film explores the intricate and often messy emotions of love, loss, and personal growth through the perspective of a teenage girl grappling with grief. It's a narrative choice that adds layers of depth to what might otherwise be a typical high school love story, making the film resonate with audiences on an emotional level that feels honest and raw. The protagonist's journey is not just about falling in love or navigating the social maze of high school. It is deeply intertwined with the process of healing after a significant loss. Grief, especially in adolescence, is a complex and often isolating experience, one that can shape identity, relationships, and one's outlook on life. Through her eyes, viewers witness how love becomes both a refuge and a challenge, a source of comfort but also vulnerability. This emotional complexity is what gives the film its authenticity. The movie carefully portrays how personal growth often springs from pain and struggle. The teenage girl's experiences reflect the universal truth that coming of age is rarely a linear path. Instead, it's a journey full of setbacks, discoveries, and moments of courage. The story's willingness to confront grief head on without sugarcoating or simplifying it allows audiences, especially young viewers, to see themselves represented with honesty and empathy. Love in this context is not just the sweet infatuation typical of teen rom-coms. It becomes a transformative force that challenges the protagonist to open her heart again, to trust, and to embrace change. The theme of personal growth is woven seamlessly throughout the narrative, showing that healing is a process and that resilience is often born in the hardest moments. By grounding the story in these emotionally rich themes, Sideline, The QB and Me transcends its genre, offering a poignant reflection on how love and loss shape who we become. It's a powerful reminder that even in the midst of pain, hope, and growth are possible, a message that resonates deeply with anyone who has faced challenges in their journey toward adulthood. The central figure in Sidelined, The QB and Me is a high school quarterback, a role often associated with confidence, popularity, and the bright promise of a future filled with glory. But beneath this archetype lies a deeply human story about how life's unpredictability can shatter even the most seemingly perfect worlds in an instant. The quarterback's journey begins with the familiar trappings of teenage success and athletic prowess, but everything changes after a tragic accident, a moment that becomes a pivotal turning point, not only for him, but for everyone around him. This accident serves as the catalyst that upends the quarterback's carefully constructed identity. It forces him to confront vulnerability, loss, and the uncertainty of what lies ahead. No longer just a symbol of physical strength and social status, he becomes a character defined by resilience and emotional depth. The film uses this transformation to explore how tragedy can strip away external facades and reveal the core of who a person truly is. What makes his story compelling is the raw honesty with which it portrays the aftermath of trauma. Instead of glossing over difficulties, the film delves into the emotional and psychological challenges he faces, the frustration, fear, and isolation that come with reimagining one's future when everything seems uncertain. It's a poignant reminder that behind the bravado of the star athlete stereotype lies a complex individual wrestling with real pain. This narrative arc also highlights the impact of such a life changing event on relationships. As the quarterback navigates his new reality, the people around him, friends, family, and especially the teenage girl at the center of the story must adapt, showing how tragedy can both fracture and deepen human connections. His journey from sidelined athlete to someone redefining his purpose reflects a universal theme of growth through adversity. In essence, the quarterback story is a powerful exploration of identity, resilience, and the human capacity to find meaning after loss. It challenges viewers to look beyond the surface and recognize the strength it takes to face life's toughest moments head on, making Sidelined the QB and Me. Much more than a simple teen romance, it's a testament to the courage it takes to rebuild oneself from the ground up. In Sidelined, the QB and Me, the female lead is much more than just a love interest. She is a fully realized character with her own internal battles and growth arc, which makes the story deeply relatable and emotionally rich. As she supports the quarterback through his life altering challenges, she simultaneously wrestles with her personal struggles, making her journey one of resilience, empathy, and self discovery. Her character embodies the complexity of adolescence, caught between the desire to help those we love and the need to care for ourselves. The film thoughtfully explores how she balances these often conflicting emotions, showing that support is not simply about sacrifice, but also about mutual healing. As she stands by the quarterback's side, she faces moments of doubt, fear, and vulnerability, reminding audiences that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the courage to confront it. Her personal struggles add depth to the narrative by illustrating that grief and hardship are not experienced in isolation. The teenage years are a time of intense emotional growth, and her challenges, whether they involve family, identity, or dreams, reflect the universal experience of young people trying to find their place in the world. Through her perspective, the movie delves into themes of friendship, loyalty, and the importance of having someone who truly understands and supports you during difficult times. The relationship between the female lead and the quarterback is portrayed with nuance and authenticity, highlighting how love can be a source of strength but also requires patience and compassion. Her journey reveals that supporting someone else's healing process does not mean losing oneself. Rather, it can be a path to greater self awareness and empowerment. Ultimately, her story serves as a powerful reminder that growth and healing are intertwined. By navigating her own struggles while being a pillar of support for the quarterback, she exemplifies the resilience of youth and the profound impact of connection in overcoming life's challenges. This layered portrayal enriches Sidelined, the QB and Me, making it a heartfelt exploration of love, loss, and the strength found in solidarity. One of the compelling undercurrents in Sidelined, the QB and Me, is its thoughtful exploration of the immense pressures and expectations that weigh on high school athletes, particularly those in spotlight positions like the quarterback. Far beyond the glamour of Friday night lights and cheering crowds lies a world fraught with intense scrutiny, demanding schedules, and the constant pressure to perform not only for personal glory, but also for the hopes of families, coaches, and entire communities. The film carefully peels back the layers to reveal the emotional and mental toll that this pressure exacts on young athletes, often obscured by the facade of confidence and success. The quarterback, as the team's centerpiece, carries a heavy burden. His performance isn't just about winning games, it's about fulfilling dreams and meeting expectations that sometimes feel overwhelming. This responsibility can lead to a sense of isolation as the athlete struggles to balance personal well being with external demands. Through the narrative, the audience gains insight into how these expectations can shape an athlete's identity from a young age. They are seen not just as individuals, but as symbols of hope and pride for their schools and communities, which adds layers of complexity to their personal struggles. The film's portrayal acknowledges that behind the trophies and accolades are young people grappling with fear of failure, self doubt, and the pressure to maintain an image of invincibility. By highlighting this aspect, Sidelined, The QB and Me adds emotional depth and realism to the story. It invites viewers to empathize with the characters beyond their athletic achievements, understanding the human cost of such high expectations. This theme also opens conversations about mental health and the need for support systems that recognize athletes as whole people rather than just performers on a field. In essence, the film challenges the glorification of athletic success by presenting a balanced view of what it truly means to be a high school athlete. It underscores that beneath the cheers and accolades lies a journey marked by resilience, vulnerability, and the courage to face not just physical challenges, but also emotional battles. In Sidelined, The QB and Me, one of the most poignant and uplifting themes is the power of friendship and community as essential pillars in the healing process. When tragedy strikes and life takes an unexpected turn, it's not just individual strength that carries the characters forward, but the support, understanding, and unwavering presence of those around them. The film delicately portrays how bonds forged in friendship become lifelines that help the protagonist navigate pain, uncertainty, and growth. The story beautifully captures the idea that healing is rarely a solitary journey. The female lead and the quarterback, surrounded by friends, family, and teammates, find solace and strength in their shared experiences and mutual care. These relationships offer more than comfort. They provide a space where vulnerability is safe, emotions are validated, and hope can slowly be rebuilt. It's through these connections that the characters begin to rediscover joy, trust, and a sense of belonging, even when their worlds feel fractured. Moreover, the community's role extends beyond the immediate circle, reflecting the real-life truth that collective support often shapes recovery. Whether it's teammates rallying behind the sideline quarterback or friends standing by the female lead during her struggles, the film emphasizes that communal empathy and encouragement are vital in overcoming life's challenges. This theme resonates deeply because it mirrors how many viewers experience hardship, not in isolation, but within the complex web of relationships that define their lives. By showcasing this, Sidelined, The QB and Me offers a hopeful message that while pain and loss are inevitable, the journey through them can be softened and transformed by the love and strength found in friendships and community. It reinforces that human connection is a powerful force, one that nurtures healing and growth when individuals come together to support one another. Music plays a vital role in shaping the emotional landscape of Sidelined, The QB and Me, and the film's carefully curated soundtrack becomes almost a character in its own right. By blending contemporary pop songs with heartfelt ballads, the soundtrack elevates the storytelling, perfectly mirroring the highs and lows experienced by the characters. This musical fusion not only sets the tone for key moments, but also deepens the audience's emotional connection to the unfolding drama. The contemporary pop tracks bring energy, vibrancy, and a youthful pulse to the film, capturing the exuberance and excitement of teenage life, the moments of joy, fun, and the rush of young love. These songs underscore scenes of friendship, school life, and the tentative steps toward romance, creating an atmosphere that feels authentic and relevant to today's youth. This modern soundtrack choice reflects the film's contemporary setting and helps ground the story in a world that audiences can immediately recognize and relate to. In contrast, the emotional ballads woven throughout the film provide a poignant counterbalance, underscoring moments of reflection, grief, and personal growth. These slower, more introspective songs allow the audience to fully absorb the weight of the characters' experiences, their vulnerabilities, heartbreaks, and moments of quiet strength. The ballads create a sense of intimacy, drawing viewers deeper into the emotional core of the story and amplifying the themes of loss and healing that are central to the film. Together, this blend of musical styles enhances the narrative rhythm, guiding the audience through the emotional journey with subtlety and grace. The soundtrack doesn't just accompany the visuals, it enriches the storytelling by echoing the characters' inner worlds and the evolving dynamics between them. It creates a sonic tapestry that resonates long after the credits roll, making Sidelined, The QB and Me, not just a visual experience, but a deeply felt emotional one. In Sidelined, The QB and Me, the cinematography plays a crucial role in grounding the story in a vivid, authentic small town setting that feels both familiar and intimate. The film's visual style carefully captures the nuances of this close knit community: the quiet streets, the local high school football stadium, the neighborhood hangouts, bringing to life a world where everyone knows each other and every corner holds a memory. Through warm, natural lighting and thoughtfully composed shots, the cinematographer creates an atmosphere that's rich with nostalgia and genuine emotion. The camera lingers on everyday details: a cracked sidewalk, the flicker of autumn leaves in the breeze, the golden glow of a sunset over the football field, reminding viewers that the setting is more than just a backdrop. It's a living, breathing character in the story. This attention to detail evokes a sense of place that enhances the emotional weight of the characters' journeys. The small town feel adds layers of meaning to the narrative. In such a community, achievements and setbacks are public, making the pressures on the quarterback and his peers even more palpable. The cinematography subtly conveys the watchful eyes of neighbors and friends, the unspoken expectations, and the comforting yet sometimes stifling closeness of a small town. This enhances the themes of vulnerability, resilience, and connection. By visually immersing the audience in this environment, the film builds authenticity and relatability. It invites viewers to reflect on their own experiences of community, belonging, and the bittersweet nature of growing up in a place where history and relationships intertwine deeply. The cinematography thus enriches the storytelling, making the emotional highs and lows resonate more powerfully against the backdrop of this warm, lived in world. In Sidelined, The QB and Me, the story is enriched not only by the experiences of the main characters, but also by the well crafted supporting cast, who bring invaluable depth and complexity to the narrative. These characters offer diverse viewpoints on the central events, allowing the audience to see the impact of the quarterback's accident and the unfolding drama from multiple angles, thus creating a more layered and authentic portrayal of the story. Each supporting character embodies different responses to adversity, reflecting the varied ways people cope with change and challenge. Some might express frustration or denial, while others show quiet strength or unwavering loyalty. Their interactions with the protagonist and each other reveal the ripple effects of tragedy on a community, illustrating how a single event can shape friendships, family dynamics, and social relationships in profound ways. By including these varied perspectives, the film avoids a one dimensional narrative and instead crafts a tapestry of emotions and experiences. For example, teammates who once saw the quarterback only as a leader on the field might struggle to reconcile their image of him with his new reality, while family members grapple with feelings of helplessness or guilt. Friends outside of sports bring their own insights and challenges, adding to the emotional richness of the story. These supporting roles also serve as mirrors and contrast to the main characters, highlighting their growth and struggles. Through dialogue, actions, and moments of vulnerability, the supporting cast deepens the audience's understanding of the central themes: resilience, acceptance, and the power of community. Ultimately, the inclusion of these perspectives elevates Sidelined, The QB and Me, from a simple teen drama to a multifaceted exploration of human experience. It invites viewers to empathize with a range of characters, encouraging reflection on how we all play a part in each other's stories, especially in times of hardship. In Sidelined, The QB and Me, the pacing is crafted with care to create an emotional rhythm that guides the audience through the story's highs and lows. Rather than rushing through key moments or lingering too long on any one scene, the film strikes a delicate balance between tension filled sequences and quiet, introspective moments that allow characters and viewers alike to process the unfolding drama. The tension builds naturally during pivotal events, whether it's the accident that changes everything or the mounting pressures on the quarterback as he struggles to adapt. These scenes are charged with emotion, urgency, and conflict, drawing viewers deeply into the characters' immediate experiences. The pacing here heightens suspense and empathy, making these moments feel intense and impactful. Yet, the film also wisely slows down to offer reflective pauses, where characters can breathe, reveal vulnerabilities, and engage in meaningful conversations. These quieter scenes are vital. They give the story emotional depth and allow the audience to connect with the inner lives of the protagonists. Moments of silence, lingering glances, and subtle gestures communicate volumes about pain, hope, and growth, creating a contemplative atmosphere that enriches the narrative. This ebb and flow of pacing mirrors the real rhythms of life, where intense challenges are often followed by periods of reflection and healing. The film's pacing ensures that the audience isn't overwhelmed by constant drama, but instead invited to savor the complexity of the characters' journeys. It also keeps viewers engaged, as the shifts between action and stillness create a dynamic storytelling experience that feels both authentic and compelling. By balancing tension with reflection, Sidelined, the QB and Me crafts a storytelling pace that respects the emotional weight of its themes while maintaining a captivating flow, allowing the story's impact to resonate deeply with its audience. In Sidelined, the QB and Me costume design plays a subtle yet powerful role in visually conveying the personalities, moods, and development of the characters throughout the story. Each outfit is carefully chosen not just for style, but to express who the characters are at different points in their journeys, helping the audience understand them on a deeper level without a single word being spoken. The quarterback's wardrobe, for example, starts off vibrant and sporty, filled with the signature gear of a confident athlete: jerseys, caps, and cleats that symbolize his identity and status. As the story progresses and his life changes, his clothing choices subtly shift, mirroring his internal struggle and evolving sense of self. The gradual transition in his appearance, from bold and carefree to more muted and reflective, visually narrates the emotional impact of his journey and the challenges he faces in redefining who he is beyond the football field. Similarly, the female lead's costumes highlight her personality and growth. Her outfits might begin as youthful and bright, representing hope and energy, but evolve into more nuanced, layered looks that reflect her maturing understanding of herself and the world around her. The costume design also uses color, texture, and style to communicate the moods of specific scenes: soft pastels during tender moments, darker tones during times of struggle, helping to enhance the storytelling through visual cues. Beyond individual characters, the film's wardrobe choices also help establish the small town setting and social dynamics among peers, illustrating trends, cliques, and cultural identity in subtle ways. This attention to detail adds richness and realism to the story world, grounding the narrative in a lived in reality. Through thoughtful costume design, Sidelined, the QB and Me deepens character portrayal and emotional resonance, using fashion as a storytelling tool that visually tracks the arcs of growth, change, and healing woven throughout the film. In Sidelined, the QB and Me, the director masterfully employs visual metaphors throughout the film to deepen the audience's understanding of the story's central themes, particularly the dual forces of struggle and hope that shape the characters' journeys. These visual elements go beyond mere decoration. They become symbolic storytelling devices that enrich the narrative and invite viewers to engage on a more intuitive and emotional level. For instance, recurring imagery such as a wilting flower slowly regaining life, a sunset fading into dawn, or a football left abandoned on an empty field are carefully woven into the scenes. These metaphors visually represent the internal battles the characters face, the moments when dreams seem to fade and the difficult process of recovery and renewal begins. The wilting flower symbolizes vulnerability and hardship, while its revival mirrors resilience and the blossoming of hope after adversity. The director also uses light and shadow strategically, often casting the quarterback in shadowed frames during his moments of despair, then gradually introducing more light as he starts to heal and accept his new reality. This interplay visually narrates the emotional arc without relying solely on dialogue, making the audience feel the weight of his struggle as well as the promise of better days ahead. Such visual storytelling heightens the emotional impact of the film and allows viewers to connect with the story on a symbolic level. It turns ordinary objects and settings into profound statements about life's challenges and the enduring human spirit. The subtlety of these metaphors ensures they resonate deeply without ever feeling forced or heavy handed, enhancing the film's artistry. By weaving these visual metaphors throughout Sidelined, the QB and Me, the director creates a layered cinematic experience that speaks to the heart, reminding us that even in the darkest moments, there is always a glimmer of hope waiting to be found. In Sidelined, the QB and Me, the emotional toll of sports injuries on young athletes is portrayed with rare sensitivity and realism. Beyond the physical pain and medical challenges, the film dives deep into the psychological and emotional upheaval that accompanies an unexpected injury, especially one that threatens to change a promising athlete's future forever. The quarterback's injury is more than a setback, it's a crisis of identity. For someone whose life revolves around football, sidelining means losing not just a sport, but a vital part of who they are. The film captures this heartbreak in quiet, intimate moments, the frustration of being unable to train, the alienation from teammates, and the haunting fear that the dreams built on the field might never come true. These scenes reveal the invisible wounds athletes often endure: anxiety, depression, and the struggle to find new purpose. By focusing on this emotional journey, the film gives voice to an experience many young athletes face, but few stories truly explore with such depth. It also sensitively portrays the ripple effect on relationships, showing how friends and family react, sometimes with support, other times with misunderstanding, highlighting the complex web of emotions surrounding injury and recovery. The portrayal of this struggle emphasizes the resilience required to cope with loss and change, as well as the importance of mental health and healing. It invites viewers to empathize with the often unseen battles athletes fight, making Sidelined, the QB and Me, not just a sports drama, but a powerful exploration of human vulnerability and strength. In Sidelined, the QB and Me, the screenplay intricately weaves the timeless themes of friendship, loyalty, and forgiveness into the fabric of the story, giving it emotional depth that resonates long after the credits roll. The dialogue and character interactions are crafted with nuance, capturing the complexities of adolescent relationships as they are tested by hardship and change. Friendship is portrayed as a lifeline amid uncertainty. The screenplay shows how true friends rally around each other, not just in moments of celebration, but more importantly, through trials and setbacks. The quarterback and his closest allies experience moments of tension, misunderstanding, and even betrayal. But these challenges serve to deepen their bonds rather than break them. The character's loyalty is tested, revealing the strength and fragility of these connections. Forgiveness emerges as a pivotal theme, both forgiving others and oneself. The story sensitively explores how holding on to resentment or guilt can hinder healing, while forgiveness offers a path to reconciliation and growth. Through heartfelt conversations and subtle emotional beats, the screenplay invites viewers to reflect on the power of empathy and second chances in repairing broken relationships. This delicate handling of interpersonal dynamics elevates the film beyond a simple sports drama into a poignant exploration of human connection. It reminds audiences that the journey through adversity is not just about physical recovery, but about the emotional resilience built through the support, understanding, and forgiveness of those around us. In Sidelined, the QB and Me, the soundtrack plays an essential role in shaping the emotional landscape of the film. Carefully curated and thoughtfully composed, the music breathes life into key moments, amplifying the characters' feelings and the story's overall mood. Whether it's the soaring crescendo during a pivotal game or the soft contemplative melodies accompanying quieter, introspective scenes, the soundtrack acts as an invisible narrator guiding the audience's emotional journey. The film's music selection reflects the highs and lows of the quarterback's experience. Energetic tracks underscore moments of hope, determination, and youthful enthusiasm, while slower, more melancholic pieces mirror the pain, doubt, and vulnerability he faces after his injury. This dynamic range of sounds ensures that the audience is fully immersed, feeling every triumph and setback alongside the characters. Moreover, the soundtrack often employs subtle shifts in tone and tempo to foreshadow events or highlight turning points in the story, adding layers of meaning beneath the surface action. It creates a rhythm that complements the film's pacing, weaving seamlessly with the visual storytelling to heighten impact without overwhelming the narrative. By blending contemporary songs with original compositions, Sidelined, the QB and Me crafts an auditory experience that resonates with its audience, especially younger viewers who can connect with the music's emotional cues. The soundtrack becomes a bridge between the film's themes and the viewer's own feelings, making the story more relatable and memorable. On the surface, Sidelined, The QB and Me is a charming, feel-good teen rom-com filled with pastel-colored locker scenes, soft lighting, and catchy music. But if you look beyond the glossy exterior, this film is quietly about something more profound: the invisible emotional weight that young people carry, especially when navigating dreams, expectations, and love all at once. Dallas, the protagonist, isn't just dancing for herself, she's dancing in memory of her late mother, chasing not only a scholarship, but a piece of identity she feels she's lost. Every pirouette, every audition isn't just performance, it's her way of staying connected to someone who shaped her whole world. That kind of emotional drive, especially for a teenager, is powerful, and the film doesn't scream it out loud, but shows it gently in her choices, her quiet pauses, her determination. It's that kind of subtle storytelling that doesn't demand your attention, but earns your respect. On the other side, Drayton, played by Noah Beck in his acting debut, isn't just your typical quarterback love interest. Beneath the charm and popularity lies a boy weighed down by grief, guilt, and expectation. His family, particularly his father, treats football as a legacy he must uphold, not a passion he gets to choose. His struggle isn't just to win games, but to figure out whether he's living his life for himself or just trying to make others proud. That internal conflict between duty and selfhood is something so many young men quietly face, and the movie reflects it with surprising restraint. Together, Dallas and Drayton are two people learning that love can't fix you, but it can remind you who you are. They don't save each other in the traditional rom-com sense, and that's what makes it better. Their connection doesn't erase their problems, but gives them the courage to confront them. In a world where teen dramas often turn to toxic relationships and melodrama, Sidelined offers a refreshing alternative, a bond rooted in mutual respect, shared grief, and the desire to grow. And maybe that's the real message of the film, that healing is messy, that chasing a dream sometimes means letting go of another, that love, when it's real, doesn't demand perfection, it accepts progress. That being sidelined in life or in sports or in your own story doesn't mean you're out of the game. Sometimes it's just the pause you need before making your next most honest move. For a teen movie that could have stayed surface level, Sidelined, The QB and Me quietly chooses heart over hype. And that choice, while not groundbreaking, is what makes it quietly memorable. Sidelined, The QB and Me isn't trying to reinvent the teen drama, and maybe that's why it actually works. In an age where Gen Z is overwhelmed with pressure, academic, emotional, digital, social, this film offers a mirror that's a little gentler, a little kinder. It doesn't mock teenage love or minimize it. Instead, it validates it. It says, yes, what you're feeling is real. Dallas and Drayton aren't written to be perfect role models or exaggerated drama machines. They're written like actual teenagers, hopeful, confused, afraid to speak up sometimes, but still trying. The film doesn't glamorize toxicity or make trauma a plot twist. It portrays emotional pain like it really is for most teens today: quiet, hidden, but always there. That's why the lightness of the tone isn't a weakness, it's the point. It shows that joy can exist even when grief lingers in the background, that chasing your dreams can come with failure, and that sometimes connection means simply showing up and being real with someone. In a world of filters and facades, this movie, despite its bubblegum gloss, gives Gen Z something refreshing. Honesty without heaviness. It's not perfect, but maybe perfection isn't what this generation is looking for. Maybe what they need is exactly this: a story that tells them it's okay to stumble, it's okay to start over, and it's okay to not have it all figured out yet. One of the most quietly powerful aspects of Sidelined, the QB and Me, is how it treats grief not as a dramatic event, but as a constant background presence in both Dallas and Drayton's lives. Neither of them cries in every other scene. There are no long, over the top breakdowns. Instead, the film does something much braver. It lets grief sit silently in the room, like a third character. Dallas dances because it connects her to her late mother, and every pirouette feels like she's reaching out for someone she'll never see again. But the movie never spells that out for you. You just feel it. In the way she looks at old photos, in the way she hesitates before stepping on stage, in the way her joy is real, but never without weight. Drayton, on the other hand, is carrying the loss of his brother and the pressure of living up to a legacy, a father's expectation layered on top of personal guilt. He's not broken, but you can tell he's still searching for closure he may never get. His silence in some scenes says more than dialogue ever could. And that's what makes it so real. The film resists the urge to exploit grief for tears. It doesn't dramatize pain, it honors it. It treats emotional vulnerability like what it actually is for most teens: hidden behind small smiles, deflected by jokes, buried under ambition. In doing so, the movie respects its audience. It trusts you'll understand without having to be told. That's rare. And that's what gives this light teen romance a surprising emotional core, one that lingers after the credits roll. At first glance, Sidelined, the QB and Me might look like every other teen love story: the quiet, artsy girl and the charming quarterback. But if you watch closely, you'll notice the film gently pushes back against those old school stereotypes in smart, subtle ways. And it doesn't need big speeches to do it. The characters speak with their choices. Dallas isn't just the love interest. She's the one with clear goals, structured discipline, and emotional control. She's not pining for love, daydreaming about the popular guy. Her dream is dance, not dating. And that instantly flips the usual dynamic, because here, the boy isn't the focused one. It's Drayton, who's emotionally lost, uncertain, craving direction. Drayton, on the other hand, is written with rare softness for a male lead in this genre. He's a star athlete, yes, but he's not cocky, not aggressive, and not afraid to admit he doesn't have it all figured out. He listens more than he talks. He respects boundaries, and instead of being the guy who pulls the girl into his world, he's the one drawn to hers, to her fire, her focus, her strength. That shift, even though quiet, matters. It tells young viewers that strength doesn't have to look like toughness, and that boys can be vulnerable without being weak. It tells girls they can lead without being labeled bossy, and they don't need to shrink themselves to be loved. In a genre full of loud declarations and predictable power dynamics, Sidelined whispers something far more radical. What if love begins when we let each other be whole, not halves looking for completion, but equals learning how to grow? What makes the final scenes of Sidelined, the QB and Me stick with you isn't that everything wraps up in a perfect fairy tale way. It's that the characters earn their ending not just through romance, but through personal growth. The climax doesn't rely on dramatic gestures or over the top confessions. It comes from quiet decisions, honest conversations, and the courage to say, "This is who I am, and this is what I want." For Dallas, the moment she finally chooses herself, her future, her dance, her mom's legacy, feels like a subtle but powerful act of emotional maturity. It's not just about getting into a school or winning a competition. It's about letting go of fear, of moving forward without needing to fix the past. For Drayton, the real win isn't on the football field, It's learning that he doesn't have to carry every expectation alone. His final arc shows a young man stepping out from under the shadow of legacy and into a version of life that's more honest, more his. Whether that means love or friendship, or just finally breathing on his own terms, that choice matters. The film's ending isn't revolutionary in plot, but emotionally, it lands. It tells its audience that healing is a process, not a destination. That real relationships, whether romantic or family, grow stronger when they're rooted in truth, not performance. That sometimes the happiest endings are the ones where you walk away, not with a perfect answer, but with clarity, confidence, and someone beside you who truly gets it. And in a genre full of fantasy, that's the kind of real that hits home. While Sidelined, The QB and Me centers on Dallas and Drayton, the emotional weight of the movie wouldn't land without the quiet brilliance of its supporting cast. These aren't just sidekicks or filler characters, they're emotional anchors, mirrors, and gentle nudges that help the leads grow into who they're meant to be. Take Nathan, Dallas's brother. He's not just comedic relief or a background figure. He's the embodiment of quiet sibling support, the kind that doesn't always say the right thing, but always shows up. Through him, we see how grief reshapes families differently, how one sibling might cope by pushing forward, while the other clings to what's left. His presence reminds us that healing isn't always loud sometimes, it's just sitting next to someone without needing to fix them. Then there's Drayton's coach, who could have easily been a cliche, the gruff, glory chasing adult figure. But instead, we get layers, a man caught between pushing talent and protecting it. Through him, the film explores generational pressure, the expectation to win at all costs, and the toll it takes when we tie worth to performance. And Deborah Cox, as Dallas's dance mentor, adds another beautiful thread. Women guiding women. Her character doesn't hand Dallas success. She challenges her, believes in her when she doubts herself, and becomes a symbol of what life after loss can look like: strong, complex, and filled with purpose. These characters don't pull focus, they amplify it. They add texture to the emotional landscape, making the journey feel less like a two-person love story and more like a lived-in world full of flawed, trying, real people. And in doing so, they remind us that even the smallest roles in someone's life can shape the biggest transformations. In teen romances, music often acts like wallpaper, soft, pretty, and forgettable. But in Sidelined, The QB and Me, the soundtrack does something more meaningful. It becomes an emotional translator. It fills in the gaps where words would fall flat. It says what the characters are feeling when they themselves don't know how to say it. From the very first dance rehearsal scene to the quiet, reflective moments between Dallas and Drayton, the music isn't just there for style, it's narrating their inner lives. Upbeat tracks during moments of connection, soft piano when grief is just beneath the surface, a slow, steady beat when anxiety rises. It's like the score knows when the characters are holding their breath and exhales for them. One standout moment, when Dallas rehearses late into the night, pushing herself to the edge. There's no dialogue, no dramatic voiceover, just the swelling of instrumental tones building toward a quiet triumph, not flashy, not showy, but deeply intimate. You feel her mom's absence in the silence between the notes. You feel her resilience in the rhythm. The film also taps into Gen Z's love of indie, mood-driven tracks, choosing songs that feel authentic rather than overly produced. It's not about chart hits or viral sounds, it's about vibe-matching emotion. And in a time where music is how this generation processes so much, that choice is a smart and powerful one. The result? A movie that doesn't need to explain every feeling because the music already does. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful storytelling doesn't happen in words, it happens in melodies that sit in your chest long after the scene fades out. At first glance, Sidelined, The QB and Me might look like it's designed to ride trends, TikTok star in the lead role, bright aesthetic, cool outfits, but underneath that surface is a story that genuinely understands its audience, Gen Z. Not through slang or forced pop culture name drops, but through something much harder to fake: emotional honesty. Gen Z audiences have grown up in chaos, social media perfection, real world pressure, constant performance. They crave stories that reflect their emotional complexity, not just relationships, but identity, grief, anxiety, ambition. This film doesn't pretend to be an edgy masterpiece. Instead, it gives viewers characters who are soft, unsure, vulnerable, and trying. Drayton's quiet mental health struggle isn't labeled, and that's what makes it real. There's no therapist monologue, just exhaustion, silence, and the quiet breaking down of someone who's been holding it in too long. Dallas's ambition isn't glamorized, it's lonely, full of tension, and often unrecognized by the adults around her. That, too, is something Gen Z knows all too well. The film also avoids the teen snark trap. It doesn't treat its characters like jokes or memes. It lets them be sincere. When Dallas and Drayton have awkward conversations or make mistakes, it doesn't mock them, it lets them learn. That's what sets it apart. Not its gloss, but its grace. In doing so, Sidelined becomes more than a teen romance. It becomes a mirror for a generation that feels deeply but is often told to stay silent. It offers a story that says, it's okay not to be okay, and you're still worthy of love, dreams, and second chances. A detail that often slips by unnoticed in teen rom-coms is how the physical settings are used to reflect emotion. But in Sidelined, the QB and Me, the locations from gym floors to quiet bedrooms become visual metaphors for what Dallas and Drayton are carrying inside. Think of Dallas's dance studio. It's bright, open, filled with mirrors. Yet, in moments when she's overwhelmed, that very openness feels too big, too raw. The mirrors reflect more than just technique, they reflect the pressure she puts on herself. They confront her with the absence of her mother and the question, am I enough? The room doesn't change, but how it feels shifts entirely based on where she is emotionally. Then there's the football field, Drayton's supposed kingdom. Wide, green, structured. But when he's alone on it, it feels cold, almost sterile. It's no longer a place of glory, it's a stage he's tired of performing on. The space itself becomes symbolic of his loneliness, the pressure to meet expectations, and the growing distance between who he is and who he's supposed to be. Even the school's hallways tell a story. When Dallas walks them with determination, they feel narrow, focused tunnel vision. But when she's lost in grief or doubt, the same corridors seem to stretch endlessly, like a maze with no exit. That contrast is subtle, but powerful. This use of space as symbol gives Sidelined a quiet visual intelligence. It doesn't need characters to always explain their emotions. The rooms, the bleachers, the doors they hesitate in front of, all speak for them. It's another layer that proves this film, while sweet on the surface, has an emotional architecture built with care. Sidelined, The QB and Me doesn't shout about grief. It doesn't give you a long flashback montage or tear-filled monologues. Instead, it does something rarer. It lets loss exist quietly, realistically, in the background of everything Dallas does, and that makes it hit even harder. Dallas's mother is gone before the movie even begins, but her presence is everywhere. In Dallas's dance, in her determination to get into the same college her mom went to, in the way she holds her emotions so tightly, afraid that if she lets go even once, she'll collapse. This kind of grief, the silent, ongoing kind, is more relatable than melodrama for many young viewers. What's striking is how the movie trusts the audience to notice, rather than spelling everything out. Dallas doesn't talk about her mother constantly. She doesn't cry in every scene. But you feel her absence in small human moments. When Dallas looks at old photos, when she doesn't want to celebrate her wins, or when she dances alone in the studio long after everyone else is gone. The grief is also shown in how others treat her. Some people tiptoe around her, unsure what to say. Others avoid the topic completely. That's real. That's how grief looks in high school, messy, half understood, and often ignored because no one knows how to handle it. What makes this portrayal powerful is its truth in restraint. The movie never turns her loss into a plot device or melodrama. It's just there, always, shaping who Dallas is. And in a world of over-explained sadness, that quiet approach feels far more honest and far more moving. By the halfway mark of Sidelined, The QB and Me, most viewers, especially seasoned rom-com fans, can guess exactly where the story's going. Girl meets boy. They clash, they connect, there's a misunderstanding. A heartfelt moment brings them back together. Fade out with a dance, a dream, and a promise of what's next. Critics might say this is a flaw, that it plays it too safe, that it never surprises. And they're not entirely wrong. There are very few twists, no dramatic villain turns, no shocking betrayals. But here's the thing, predictability isn't always a weakness sometimes, it's the very thing that makes a film work. For many young viewers, Sidelined is a warm blanket. It gives them a space where things make emotional sense, where the nice guy is genuinely nice, where pain is real but survivable, and where second chances come without cruelty. It doesn't challenge genre expectations, it delivers them, like a promise kept. There's also safety in knowing how a love story will unfold, especially for Gen Z who are bombarded with chaotic content and real world anxieties. This film offers a soft place to land. It's emotional without being overwhelming. It's romantic without being unrealistic. It's a story that wants you to feel good, and sometimes that's exactly what audiences want. So, yes, it's predictable, but maybe the real surprise is how intentional that is. Sidelined isn't trying to reinvent the teen romance, it's trying to perfect the comfort it provides. And in that way, its simplicity becomes its secret strength. When Sidelined, The QB and Me dropped on Tubi, film critics weren't exactly hailing it as a cinematic masterpiece. Descriptions like lightweight, bubblegum for the eyes, and a feel-good formula flick appeared in more than one review. But what's fascinating is how audiences didn't reject those labels, they embraced them. For critics, the movie might lack complexity. They pointed out how the script follows genre tropes, how the dialogue occasionally feels polished rather than lived in, and how the plot never strays too far from the expected arc. But for fans, especially younger viewers, that was never the point. What mattered was how it made them feel. Social media reactions tell a different story. Teen viewers and Wattpad fans flooded Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube comment sections with things like, "Finally, a cute movie without toxic drama," and "Noah Beck's acting was actually good, y'all." People didn't care if it wasn't Oscar material, they cared that it gave them something safe, sweet, and sincere. What's more, many viewers found comfort in its predictability. One user called it the emotional palate cleanser I didn't know I needed. Another said, "Sometimes I just want a movie where the guy's actually nice, the girl's got goals, and they don't ruin each other's lives." This was that. So while the critical consensus may be lukewarm, the audience response highlights something deeper. In an era of heavy, complex media, there's still room and real demand for simple stories that feel like hugs. Sidelined might be bubblegum, yes, but it's the kind you keep chewing because it tastes like nostalgia, comfort, and calm. Sidelined, The QB and Me didn't go viral in the traditional sense. There wasn't a big marketing push, no massive red carpet premiere. But quietly, steadily, it found its place especially on TikTok and Instagram Reels, where Gen Z creators started claiming it as a comfort film. What's fascinating is how the fan love grew without hype. Teen viewers started sharing subtle edits, slow motion clips of Dallas and Drayton's hallway glances, voiceovers on emotional moments, or softcore aesthetics that made the movie feel even dreamier than it is. Hashtags like #QBandMe, #TubiRomcom, and #NoahBeckDebut began appearing alongside clips, and what started as low-key appreciation turned into shared fandom culture. The movie's safe and clean tone became a big plus. In a digital age where toxic drama is everywhere in shows, TikTok callouts, or reality TV viewers embraced Sidelined for its emotional softness. It gave them a space where characters communicated, supported one another, and didn't tear each other down for drama's sake. Another big reason? The relatable characters. Many viewers commented how Dallas didn't feel like a perfect protagonist. She was hardworking, vulnerable, and trying to balance grief with ambition. That realness clicked with younger fans, especially those dealing with personal loss, burnout, or family pressure. The TikTok trend became less about the film being great cinema and more about the vibe it delivered. And in today's era of bite sized storytelling, vibe matters. Fans didn't just watch the movie, they curated it, reinterpreted it, and added meaning through their own edits and captions. In short, the movie didn't need to dominate the box office, it earned its place in the quiet corners of Gen Z's online world. And that's a win most rom-coms from bigger studios wish they could claim. At first glance, casting Noah Beck, a social media influencer with over 30 million followers, as the male lead in a teen romance might seem like a stunt, a clout move. But in Sidelined, The QB and Me, Beck's performance turns out to be more than decent. It's earnest, surprising, and in some ways, quietly smart. From the start, audiences had their doubts. Many assumed he was chosen for his name and face, not his acting chops. And to be fair, even Beck himself has said in interviews that he came into this role from zero, training for months to prepare. But that effort shows not in flashy emotional outbursts or dramatic monologues, but in how grounded Drayton Leahy feels. Drayton isn't your usual jock stereotype. Yes, he's the quarterback. Yes, he's charming, but he's also under pressure, quietly grieving, and unsure about who he really wants to be. And Beck plays that mix of popularity and self-doubt with surprising restraint. He doesn't try too hard to act. Instead, he brings a natural awkwardness that works for a teen guy trying to seem okay when he's not. More importantly, his casting worked on a marketing level. Beck's fan base followed him to Tubi, many watching their first original film on the platform just to see him. That drove massive Gen Z engagement. From TikTok edits of his scenes to comments like, "He can act? Wait, what?" Beck's presence broadened the film's reach far beyond a typical rom-com audience. In essence, Noah Beck was a gateway, not just into the film, but into a whole style of soft, Instagram-era storytelling. His performance won't win awards, but it did win over skeptics. And that may be the bigger victory, not proving he's the next DiCaprio, but proving influencer turned actor doesn't have to be a punchline anymore. In a movie built on soft tones and teen romance energy, Siena Agudong's performance as Dallas Bryan stands out not because it's loud or dramatic, but because it's real. With every scene, she brings a grounded, lived-in energy that makes Dallas more than just the girl chasing a dream. She's the film's soul, and that's no accident. What many viewers might not know is that Sienna wasn't just the lead, she was also a co-producer. That means she had creative input in shaping her character and scenes. In fact, she's spoken about how she brought elements of her own Filipino-Hawaiian heritage into the role, subtly influencing the way Dallas dresses, dances, and even processes grief. Dallas isn't your typical teen romance lead. She's not quirky just for laughs or overly strong in the cliché sense. Instead, she's driven by loss: her mom's death, her father's absence, her deep desire to attend the dance school her mom once did. But she's never melodramatic about it. That emotional restraint, the sense that she's quietly holding back, gives her performance a powerful tension. Sienna delivers a layered portrayal. When Dallas is dancing, there's both joy and ache. When she stands up to her coach or comforts her brother, there's maturity without making her feel like an adult in a teen's body. And her chemistry with Noah Beck feels refreshingly natural, not forced, not performative. As a young woman of color leading a mainstream rom-com and producing it, Sienna Agudong is quietly rewriting what Gen Z heroines look like. She's not loud or flashy, but her strength is in her subtlety. In a genre that often overlooks depth for sparkle, she brings both, and that's what keeps the movie from floating away like the bubblegum it's wrapped in. While the spotlight shines on Dallas and Drayton, Sidelined, The QB and Me is held together by its supporting cast actors who bring subtle gravitas to a film that could have easily been too lightweight. These characters aren't just filler, they're reflections of legacy, loss, and the quiet emotional architecture that gives the story its meaning. James Van Der Beek, known to millennials as the sensitive heartthrob from Dawson's Creek, plays Drayton's father, a former football star haunted by his own past. His role isn't large, but it's loaded. In just a few scenes, Van Der Beek conveys the pressure, pride, and buried grief of a dad who wants his son to succeed, but doesn't always know how to love him without conditions. He doesn't steal the spotlight, he uses it wisely, with restrained emotion that many viewers found unexpectedly touching. Then there's Deborah Cox, the award-winning R&B singer, as the school's dance coach. Her character is firm but nurturing, pushing Dallas to chase her dream without giving in to cliches of the tough mentor. Cox brings a calm, powerful presence. Her scenes are short but impactful, especially when she acknowledges Dallas's personal struggles beyond just dance. Drew Ray Tanner, playing Dallas's older brother Nathan, deserves credit too. In a genre that often sidelines siblings, Nathan is protective, sweet, and emotionally in tune, a welcome contrast to typical absent brother tropes. He's one of the film's emotional anchors, especially in moments where Dallas feels alone in her dreams. What makes this ensemble work is that none of them feel like caricatures. They're not there to create tension or drama, they're there to catch the characters when they fall. That emotional safety net makes the movie feel warmer, more sincere, and ultimately more believable. It's rare in teen rom-coms for the adults to matter this much, and in Sidelined, they absolutely do. When the credits roll on Sidelined, the QB and me, you're left with a feeling that's hard to explain. Not exhilaration, not deep reflection, but something more subtle, comfort. Like rewatching a favorite coming-of-age movie from your teenage years, or revisiting a journal entry you forgot you wrote. It's not about what happens, it's about how gently it happens. The movie isn't fast-paced or twisty. It follows a fairly linear path. Dallas wants to dance, Drayton wants out of the shadow of his late brother and demanding father, and together they find something healing in each other. No huge betrayals, no shocking turns. But that's the point. It doesn't try to be edgy or revolutionary, it just wants to be nice. And sometimes, nice is enough. The pacing is slow but not boring. There are quiet beats that allow you to breathe, take in the glossy visuals, and connect with the characters. And while the plot doesn't offer many surprises, the consistency is actually one of its greatest strengths. It's a movie you can put on during a rainy afternoon, or when you're emotionally burnt out and just want a love story where nobody gets too hurt. It's also a rare teen film that's emotionally safe. No bullying, no love triangles, no toxic rivalries. Just a girl, a boy, and their shared grief slowly transforming into something tender and hopeful. That softness isn't a flaw, it's a feature. Especially for viewers who are tired of overdramatic Netflix romances or loud, irony heavy Gen Z comedies. Rewatch value? Surprisingly high. Not because it's packed with action or clues, but because it gives you a familiar emotional space to return to. Like a playlist of slow songs or a favorite hoodie, Sidelined becomes part of your comfort media, not because it demands your attention, but because it gently earns your trust. While critics gave Sidelined the QB and me a polite shrug, calling it bubblegum or streaming fluff, the fanbase had a completely different take, and that gap between what the movie is and what it means to viewers tells a deeper story. On sites like Rotten Tomatoes and The Guardian, the film was described as shallow, predictable, and visual first. Reviewers pointed out the formulaic plot, the Instagram aesthetic style, and the lack of dramatic stakes. Chewing gum for the eyes was one of the sharper lines, colorful, sweet, but forgettable. But scroll through TikTok, YouTube comments, or Wattpad fan spaces, and you'll find something very different. Teen viewers, especially Gen Z audiences, saw a film that gave them softness without tragedy and romance without toxicity. In a media landscape overloaded with trauma-heavy stories, Sidelined offered gentle warmth. For many young fans, it was relatable without being triggering. It didn't ignore topics like grief or pressure, but it also didn't force characters to suffer dramatically. Drayton's pain is quiet. Dallas's ambition is real, but not cutthroat. It's the kind of movie you watch when you want to feel seen, but not shaken. Critics often measure a film's worth by originality, stakes, or artistic ambition. But fans were measuring something else: how safe it felt to exist inside this story. That's why social media reactions were full of comments like, "This healed my 15-year-old self," or "Finally a romance where I didn't feel anxious the whole time." So yes, Sidelined may not have redefined teen cinema, but in its small, soft way, it reminded viewers they deserve stories that don't hurt to watch. That's something critics missed, and fans will remember. To become a best known for being a free streaming platform loaded with cult classics and random B movies, made a bold move with Sidelined, The QB and Me, and it paid off. This wasn't just a feel good teen romance, it was a calculated pivot into original youth driven content aimed directly at Gen Z audiences who are moving away from traditional platforms. Think about it. The story is based on a Wattpad hit one with over 30 million reads and a built in fan base. The lead actor, Noah Beck, is a TikTok megastar whose followers don't necessarily care about critical reviews. They care about connection, aesthetics, and authenticity. Add in Siena, a young actress with real range, and you get a cast tailor made for digital age loyalty. Tubi promoted the movie smartly, with Instagram friendly visuals, subtle influencer backing, and no pressure to pay for a subscription. That's huge. In a world where Netflix and Prime demand constant commitment, Sidelined was a no risk click. And once inside, viewers found something that felt like emotional comfort food, a cozy movie without high stakes or hidden darkness. Tubi also knew what it was not trying to do. This wasn't meant to compete with HBO's Euphoria or Netflix's prestige teen dramas. It aimed lower, and in doing so, hit exactly the emotional niche that audiences were quietly craving. It became part of a growing genre some are calling comfort core, media made to calm, not provoke. In the end, Sideline did more than perform well for a Tubi original. It shifted perception. It said, Tubi isn't just for old movies and weird horror anymore. We get Gen Z. We hear what you want. And with a confirmed sequel on the way, it's clear. This wasn't a one-time experiment. This was the start of something bigger. Sidelined. The QB and Me didn't start in a studio. It started on a fanfiction platform. It began as The QB Bad Boy and Me by Tay Marley, a Wattpad novel that lived and thrived purely on reader love, not industry greenlights. With over 30 million reads, it wasn't a fluke. It was proof of emotional resonance in a story built outside traditional systems. Now it's a streaming film on Tubi, and part of a bigger revolution. What makes Wattpad origin stories like this so powerful is that they're audience tested long before studios touch them. These are stories built in comment sections, shaped by feedback, and rooted in character dynamics that real people obsess over. They don't try to fit industry formulas, they create new ones based on what fans actually want. The QB and Me is full of tropes: bad boy with a soft side, passionate girl with a dream, slow burn chemistry, but that's what makes it work. It understands that trope isn't a bad word if it's done with heart. Wattpad writers aren't trying to be edgy or artsy, they're trying to connect, and that clarity shows up in the movie version. This isn't an isolated case. Wattpad is now a production machine. Its studios, like Wattpad Webtoon Studios, are actively turning high engagement stories into streaming films, especially for platforms like Tubi that want loyal young audiences without the cost of blockbuster originals. And it works because fans follow stories from screen to script and back again. In short, Sidelined isn't just a rom-com, it's a symbol of how storytelling is shifting. No longer top-down from Hollywood execs, but bottom-up from readers, fans, and digital writers. It's a new era where the next big teen movie might not come from a screenplay agent. It might come from someone writing on their phone at 2 a.m., guided by nothing but passion and a comment section. Every generation has its own comfort film, not the one that wins awards, not the one critics rave about, but the one you put on when your heart is tired. For Gen Z, Sidelined, The QB and Me might just be one of those films. It's not trying to impress, it's just trying to be there for you, and that's rare. This movie doesn't offer cinematic fireworks. It won't be taught in film school. But what it does offer is emotional ease, a reminder that love can be kind, that grief doesn't always have to break you in half, and that two people can quietly help each other heal. It tells teens, your struggles matter, but so does your softness. What makes it stick is how gently everything unfolds. The performances aren't loud, but they're sincere. The story doesn't twist, but it flows. The romance doesn't burn, but it glows. In an age of intense dramas, messy anti heroes, and high stakes storytelling, Sidelined whispers something different. It's okay to just be okay. And with the sequel already confirmed, following Dallas and Drayton into college, and a long distance phase of their journey, the emotional investment continues. Fans won't just be watching a love story, they'll be growing with it. This isn't just a one off, it's becoming a comfort series that audiences can return to again and again, like a favorite book or playlist. In the end, Sidelined. The QB in me doesn't need to be the best. It only needed to be true to what it promised, a soft, warm, hopeful teen story that asks for nothing but a little attention and gives a quiet hug in return. And for thousands of viewers who saw themselves in it, that was more than enough. Thanks for hanging out with us at Real Talk Cinema, where movies aren't just watched, they're felt. If you learned something new, hit that like button. If you've got a hot take or hidden fact we missed, drop it in the comments. We rate everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a breakdown, a review, or a behind the scenes dive. Until next time, keep watching smart, stay curious, and remember, real stories stick with you.